Hi, it's Joan from Joan's Designs and Creations, and today I'm going to make another member of my vegetable gang, the tomato peel. And cut out my outside shell of the tomato, and these cutters came from Jillo Creations. And I cut another one out, and then I used the impression and part of the cookie cutter to make the impressions. Then I worked the white, and I used Primitive Pumpkin White clay for this one. It's the first time I've used her clay, and I really liked it. So I know why other people have been using it. So I take the base, put the white in between, and then I put the one with the impressions on top. So it's like a cookie. Then I take my red and I make my feet. And I've decided to make my feet a little different because mine weren't standing up as well. So I make them into a rectangle, make them pretty thick. And then I'm going to connect the two whenever I attach it to the actual tomato. So just made them the same size. Then next I take my tool and I put my smile in there. And then I use the other black one I have to make the two dots at the end of the smile. Then I take a little bit of red and roll it into a ball to make the nose. And I attach that with some super glue, the gel. I break off a piece of toothpick and insert it, and then put a little bit more of the super glue on, and then put the nose on. Then I take the eyes that I choose, and I've used these for a year or so. I've had these, so I'm not sure who I got them from. It was somebody from their Etsy shop. But there are so many people that make them that you can find them. I have the hardest time putting them on with my tweezers, and I say that in another one of my videos too. So then next I take the smallest heart that I have, and I roll it out, and I put that on. I've cut two out, and then I put those on for the cheeks. I think it just adds a little bit of a fun flair to the tomato. So I take a little dab of the super glue and put the heart on. And then I put 3 dots on the top of the nose and 3 dots on the hearts. Then next I show that doing that there. I put a little impression by the eyes just to give them a little bit of character. Now I'm going to use some brown to make the stem of the tomato. And there is the impression on from the cookie cutter that I use as my guide. Then I take some green and I use one of my teardrop cutters. And those are the ones I like to use for the leaves. I cut out a couple of those. And what I do with them is I put a line down the center of it, and then I do little impressions on the side of it. I didn't show it very well this time, but I have done it on a couple of my other videos. Just add those randomly to the top of the tomato. And then I take and make little twirly cues. I roll out a little snake, put it pretty thin, and then just twist it around. I add that to the top part of my tomato. I add a couple of these on there because I just like how they add a little friendly flair to the tomato. And on this one, I took half of it and twirled it one way, and then I turned it around and did it the other way. So it's like 2 twirls on a vine. Then I decided I needed to do just a little bit more. I don't know, sometimes I get carried away making the little spiral things. I add that on there again. And there's the tomato. Then I'm going to add his feet next. I do add a bow on there, but I don't do it on this live. But you can see it on the picture of the live. And these ones I did it the way I normally had been doing, and I let it dry. Thank you.